you love. 5 years of being right there with you, in your car, in your kitchen, at work, in your earbuds. And we don't take that for granted, not for a second. When it came time to celebrate our 5th anniversary, we knew it had to mean something. And we're celebrating on the most fitting day there is, Juneteenth. We're still putting the finishing touches on something really special. And before we tell the world, we want to tell you first. Once we announce this event publicly, we expect that seats are going to go fast, really fast. So, go to our website right now at KBLA1580.com and sign up to make sure you're the very first to hear what we've got planned. Before we go public with all the details, you've been riding with us. It's only right you're first to know. KBLA1580.com. We'll see you on Juneteenth for our 5th anniversary banger. Banger, banger, banger.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this is gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss it. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Most therapists do not know how to help mentally ill people, and most therapeutic techniques are not designed to help mentally ill people. I know those are fighting words. Fellow therapists, do not get mad unless I'm actually talking about you. But think of it this way. Imagine going to physical therapy, and the physical therapist starts your session by asking you where it hurts. And so you tell them where it hurts, and you describe the nature of your pain in the greatest detail you're capable of. Then your physical therapist says, what happened? How did you become injured? So you walk through the events that caused the pain, and you're starting to feel hopeful. This person understands how you feel. They know what happened to cause it, and this feels like a great start. You feel validated, you feel understood. All that's left is to create a plan of action to reduce your pain. And that's when your therapist says, hey, this was a good session. I'll see you next week. And you're a little disappointed because you're certain that you'll start doing some exercises next week to work on relieving the pain. Unfortunately, when you go back next week, it's just more of the same. More describing your pain and the circumstances that caused it, no plan of action, no method of resolution, just talking about what hurts over and over again with the assumption that this alone will heal you. That is what most therapy feels like to me, and I don't like it. It feels like constantly waiting for answers that never come, and ever-growing frustration that this person, this therapist, either knows what I can do to feel better and for some odd reason is refusing to tell me, or they have no idea and they're just making this up as we go. And don't get me wrong, this process of understanding the nature of a person's pain and the details of their backstory is important. I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing that. But in and of itself, that process, in my opinion, is not an intervention. Just getting to know someone and understanding their history and why they hurt and how they hurt does not automatically help them get better. And that's all a lot of therapists do. When I first got into this field, I found myself asking the question, would this have actually helped me when I was at my lowest point? When I would see examples of a lot of, the most well-renowned people in our field doing therapy sessions. And I realized, no, this would have done nothing for me. Like if I was this person's therapy client, they would not have been able to help me. And that's what leads me to my conclusion that the general principles of most modern therapeutic practices are woefully inadequate for anyone with a serious mental health condition. Two of the most frequently emphasized rules in most graduate programs for therapists and most agencies where therapy is offered are: 1, do not ever give direct advice to your therapy clients, and 2, do not talk about yourself or your own experiences. Let's think about the implications of these rules in combination with one another. If I cannot advise you directly or talk about my own experiences, all I can really be to you is a sort of paraphrasing and summarizing mirror of what you say to me, which, if you're anything like me, feels a little bit like talking to like a well-meaning, kind brick wall and not an actual human being. If your therapist functions as this type of mirror, that means they believe the answer to your struggles already exists inside of you.
But
and all you
listen. The answers do exist inside of you. And a good therapist will help you navigate yourself and find that answer. See, this is what I don't like about folk in this therapy world. In this world in general that Krishnamurti talked about, and I'm going to get back to him too. We forget this is the Western world. The Western world has took a spiritual practice and made it clinical. Now, I'm not saying that the clinical side isn't valuable. It is. But when you talk about healing somebody, that is a spiritual movement. When you talk about individuation, sure. Carl Jung came up with, no, white folk don't come up with stuff. They recontextualize pre-existing things. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said, I wasn't supposed to say, but I'm going to say it. So the clinical side is it has to be replicable. It has to be falsifiable. There's a scientific method, right? But in the spirit space, uncertainty is an answer. Yeah. Oh, oops. Hold on. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? A good therapist who is not only clinically aware, but also spiritually aware, rooted in some collectivist culture's belief system that elevates consciousness, will be able to marry the philosophy of that culture and the psychology of this one. That's why, like I said, sisters who are clinicians as well as have some indigenous practice that they're tapped into. Ah, man, they're formidable. They can point you to the answers that exist in you. The great Krishnamurti was one of those types of seers. That's why so many people the world over came to see him until the day he died. Just imagine, for over 60 years of your life, you live till you're 90. For over 60 years of your life, you travel all over the world without the internet, without announcement, and the world's circadian rhythm locks into yours. And people just know at a certain time of year, he gonna show up in this field over here. And when that time of year roll by, depending on where you are in the world, 40,000, 50,000 people show up. This is before the internet. You understand what I'm just, he's in Brockwood Park, England this time. Oh, and then all of the world's greatest thinkers that the pseudo-intellects quote. Oh, they were there too? What? Yeah, they were there too. So do you see the point that I'm making here? And that happened for 60 years until he died in 86. Oh, by the way, yeah, he had a huge talk before he died in 86. What? A few months before he died. Like, he was still teaching. Right? So, I know we're talking, did tonight's topic, your therapist lied to you. Did they? I think the blame goes both ways. I do agree with Krishnamurti when he says, therapy is a good tool, right? He said it has potential, right? But it's limited. He's saying that tool has been weaponized to cause people, right, to conform to a sick society. That's Krishnamurti's take, right? He said society's sick health. He mentioned it in his famous quote, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to managing an unhealed wound so your relationship can survive. How many of you are wound management right now? Just so we done came this far, I can't give up on them now. It'll be too much to lose at this point. I got too much time, energy, money invested in this. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to the tyranny of an unhealed wound so that your relationship will survive. Managing a wound is almost like self-erasure. Gosh, I know you don't. Krishnamurti, he said the limitation of experts. Krishnamurti believed that seeking comfort from professionals, psychologists, analysts, does not end sorrow, but rather acts as a temporary patch. He's not saying that psychologists aren't useful. He's saying this is another dependency that will build. Let me go to them and get this help because I don't know how to provide it to myself. Right? Many times therapists are on the end of unnecessary blame for actions that they never took, for directions that they never embodied that came from the therapist. Right? Then he goes even further. The problem of conformity. He cautioned that therapy can often lead to conformity, training individuals to fit into a broken system rather than questioning it. Then he goes on to self-knowledge, right? Self-knowledge over analysis. He suggested to know yourself, you need not go to any book, to any priest, to any psychologist. He advocated for directly observing the mind's movement in daily life. Now, I will stop him here, not to disagree, but to add even more context. When you're writing from a bland, clinical, academic, kind of perspective, people get lost in these heavy conversations. I think books are powerful tools if they're written correctly. Metaphor, story, right? This is why movies are so big. Movies are just retelling old archetypes and old concepts, and they're reinventing them and telling them again. Like, for instance, when you look at Star Wars, you're looking at the fall of Lucifer, Darth Vader, the Dark Father. That's what you're looking at. Joseph Campbell's work. I love the special with him and Bill Moyers when he talked about the power of myth. That aired on PBS, multiple episodes. Go get it. That's when he articulated the hero's journey. Right? He was a cultural anthropologist as well. Taught at Sierra Lawrence. Right? Talked about the power of myth, the hero with 1,000 faces. Right? To me, books embody those archetypes, and they create stories that will make complex philosophical or psychological issues more digestible. So, if you have someone that's writing those types of books, then I think those types of books are healthy. But if you have, like the self-help industry has produced, a lot of content that is self-management, I've articulated what my issue is. Now let me go about the business of managing it. That's not healing. That's not healing. Right? Now, he goes even further when he talks about this healing process. The aim is self-observation. Instead of relying on a professional, he suggested one should become their own therapist. I just said this. Imagine you becoming a therapist. He just said this. I just said this. Right? He suggested one should become their own therapist by observing their own hurt, ego, and conflict without judgment. Do you see? So the therapist is invaluable in this regard. The therapist is doing what you don't know how to do for yourself. And yes, there are some good therapists and some bad therapists. However, you should be learning how to observe the self in the way that the great Krishnamurti was explaining. Do you see? It's not enough to name it. Now, remember what I said before. There's steps to it. You name it, then you claim what you've named. Now you're able, without force, to tame what you've claimed and named. Do you see it? Name it, claim it without force, then tame it without force. Right? The wound, the fractured self, the shadow will soften in your loving embrace. I was having a conversation with a sister in the cigar lounge today. And she was talking, I just move away from people that are negative. And I said, you're always in defense. You're anticipating negativity. No, I'm not. I said, okay, if you're not anticipating negativity, why is that your response? Instead of understanding why they came into your space in the beginning. Because the lady started off by saying, I seem to attract these type of people. I said, why? What beacon in you is constantly broadcasting to them? She couldn't get her mind wrapped around that something in her is calling in what is consistently coming in. I said, do you see? Well, people don't give what I give. I said, are you focused on receiving what you give? If you're focused on receiving what you give, do you not set up an evaluative process? Because now you're judging and weighing what they give versus what you give. You might not be doing it consciously, but that's what you've set up. Does that unconsciously? Krishnamurti said, be your own therapist. But in order to be your own therapist, there's some work to be done. We'll talk about that when we come forward. The voice of reason.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Created with a share of the 1984 Olympic Games surplus, LA 84 began operations in 1985 as a grant-making and educational foundation. Today, the LA 84 Foundation supports hundreds of nonprofit youth sports organizations throughout Southern California annually, trains coaches, commissions research, convenes conferences, and maintains the world's premier Olympic and sports library collection. They are transforming lives and communities through the power of youth sports. To find out about youth sports programs for yourself or your child, and to get information about the grants and support they offer to schools and nonprofits, or if you want to make a donation, please visit la84.org. That's la84.org. Or you can call them at 323-730-4600. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pacoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
You know you want some more. It's The Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Andy's showing out.
Over the last several years, I'd say maybe 5-6 years, perhaps even more, I found myself being emailed a lot, or even just in person, being asked by people all sorts of questions about psychotherapy. And the questions range from, could I talk to you a little bit about my therapist? I don't know if my therapist is good. How do I figure that out? I don't know if I like my therapist. Could you help me find a better therapist? How do I assess the quality of a psychotherapist? Could you refer me to a therapist? And many people have wanted me to be their therapist. As it happens, I actually haven't even been a therapist for the last 4 years. I closed my practice at the beginning of 2010. But I was a therapist before that for a little over 10 years and learned a lot about the field. And in the course of my work also met a ton of psychotherapists and also had the very interesting experience of talking with a lot of my clients who I worked with about their past psychotherapists. And one other way that I gained a lot of experience about psychotherapy was I've been in therapy a few times myself. And so I feel like I have a pretty broad range of knowledge about the field. And in general, I'd say I'm fairly critical of it. Not entirely of psychotherapy, but pretty strongly critical in general. So thought it might be worthwhile to try to put some of these ideas into the spoken word and see what comes out. When someone says, I think I need psychotherapy, could you refer me to a therapist? I'm often very hesitant to do it. And the first thing is, I don't necessarily believe that anybody needs psychotherapy. That's been something that's been really important for me personally and watching others, that often people say to other people, oh, you need psychotherapy, and often people can start to believe it themselves, I must need therapy. But I think the real thing people need is they need to grow. They need to evolve. They need to heal their ancient...
Come on. Okay. Who was that, Andy? Daniel Mackler. No disrespect to Daniel. And a lot of what he's saying is absolutely valid. But consider this. Carl Jung said people do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid looking at themselves. To avoid facing themselves, right? No wonder therapy has a high or a low success rate. Listen, if you raise kids, you could tell a kid, do this, do that, do this, do that. Pour all this stuff into their mind at a certain age. I guarantee you, at a certain age, they're going to start doing what they want to do. They're going to stop consulting you. That's what it is. I think a lot of times therapists get a bad rap. That does not let therapy off the hook as being limited. I've already outlined some of the limitations. The Western construction of it, or I should say the Western reconstruction of what used to be philosophy, which was the ancient mystery systems that the Greeks usurped, okay? But there's some spiritual components in it that if one learns to conquer oneself, this goes back to Krishnamurti. Now again, the Western science makes it clinical, makes it diagnostic. It has to be, falsifiable. It has to be replicable. All of the things that make a theory, all of the things that the scientific method, all of that is in psychology today. But if you go back to its original name, not the new name, the study of mental and behavioral patterns. If you go back to what the name actually means, the etymology of the word, study of the soul, which talks about its spiritual origins. Do you see? This is a heavy topic. Your therapist lied to you, or did you lie to yourself as a justification for not listening to their instruction? When we come forward, I'm going to the phone lines. I got somebody that want to talk about it. Let's get it.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A strike is no longer happening in Los Angeles schools. Black Mayor Karen Bass announced Los Angeles Unified School District and Service Employees International Union Local 99 reached a tentative agreement overnight, avoiding a walkout by about 30,000 support staff.
Dedicated workers care for our children every day.
Other school unions also reached deals so schools across the district will stay open. The New Orleans City Council is voting on whether to keep IV waste handling trash pickup in the French Quarter through 2027. The company won a legal fight last year against Henry Consulting, the contractor preferred by former Black Mayor LaToya Cantrell's administration, but a pending lawsuit could still reopen the door for another contractor. And France may block rapper Kanye West from performing there after the UK barred him from entering. Officials are reportedly trying to stop his planned June 11th show in Marseille, with the city's mayor also speaking out against it. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Are you looking for your next European adventure? Think Poland. From its historic cities to all of the UNESCO landmarks, and its incredible food. Modern, safe, welcoming. Get inspired at Poland.travel.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right, folks. As we approach Liberty Island, you'll see the iconic Statue of Liberty, standing tall at over 300 feet. The torch in her hand symbolizes a beacon of hope that's held up by her very wavy arm.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. It's proven to slow GA progression and could preserve your remaining vision for longer, so you can keep seeing the world around you. Don't take Izervay if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't wait for your vision changes to progress. Ask your retina specialist about Izervay today. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with the Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay. All right.
Everyone tells you when you're having a hard time, especially when you had a lot of trauma as a kid, that you should go talk to someone. Or they say you should find a good therapist. But for me, talk therapy didn't help that much. And I want to tell you why. I'm Anna Runkle, also known as the Crappy Childhood Fairy, and I teach people the techniques and principles that eventually led to my recovery from complex PTSD. At the beginning of 2020, I posted a video called If I Had Just 1 Year to Heal. And I listed 10 things I'd do if magically I could go back in time knowing what I know now about what allowed me to heal from childhood PTSD symptoms. But this time, I had to heal it in just 1 year. And so I listed my 10 things, stuff like getting out of unhealthy relationships, reading groundbreaking books on trauma right away, getting off cigarettes, not talking so much about my problems, things like that. And I even made a worksheet that viewers could download to list their 10 things that they'd do if they, just as a thought exercise, knew that they had just 1 year to heal. So this was one of my most popular videos of the year. And 2 months later, dozens of people are still downloading it every day. But a few people have written to me to ask me to clarify why one of the things I put on my list was that I'd quit therapy long before I actually did quit therapy, because it wasn't helping me. So I wanted to follow up on that and say, yes, I definitely wish I had quit therapy earlier, but that is not to say that I think you should quit therapy. And furthermore, I wanted to say, all in the same video, what did work for me, how I did process trauma without the downsides of therapy that were making it so destructive for me. So first, if you're in therapy and it helps you, you have my 100% encouragement to keep doing that. I have therapist friends, and I've known many, many people who find therapy to be...
Listen, that was my crappy childhood. Find her on YouTube. We found her through my niece, Attila. I love her work. You want to hear the rest of that story, find her on YouTube. And like I said, I'm an advocate for therapy, especially when it's blended with spirituality. I've got callers on the line. I want to get them in here so they can talk. Our brother, your brother, my brother, from the city of champions, Leroy. Let's see what Leroy on today. We come on, Leroy. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
This is good Leroy tonight. Good Leroy.
Yeah,
this is good Leroy. Good Leroy. Yeah, I'm really grateful that you retouched on this topic. I did have a question I wanted you to answer, or two. One is the title of your latest work, the date of release of your latest work, and will that be at this gathering with the Master Healers? Will you be doing your release then, or you'll be doing it in advance of that? And then after you answer that, I'll ask you something else.
So really quickly, the release of my new book is actually after this event. It'll be somewhere near the end of June. I'm at the 9th stage of my editing. This is my 9th pass. So it's done. 15 chapters, 63 word glossary, which are really not a glossary, more of a tool set. There's a whole section on how to read the book. And unfortunately, I'm not going to give up the title. I showed Tavis the title. He was rolling. He loves the title. But I'm not giving up the title just yet. I'm giving it up in increments. There is a pre-order link on my website, which is mrzowhat.com. And it's a prelude to what the title will be because there are symbols. And all you have to do is click this book or click this banner on my website that says new book release, and it'll take you to the page where you can pre-order your book. But I'll be releasing the name of the title of the book in coming weeks, probably about 2 weeks. I just want to see what the interest would be from people looking at the symbols that I've put up that represent what will be spoken of in the book.
Yeah, thank you for that. I don't want to say it's overdue because I don't think it is, but I was hoping that you released it with this Gathering of the Masters. I thought that would, but I guess you're gonna get a lot of pre-sales, so that ain't bad.
Well, we're trying to, and I was told to promote it on this show, but once I get going on the topic, it's hard for me to get off the topic, and I thank you for bringing me, back to the book, yeah, and actually
just make a
promoting.
commercial, man.
Yeah,
Just make a small little commercial type deal and you just, with the so what and the where people can call in and do the pre-order. It don't even have to be that long, 30 seconds at the most, and you just slip it in there every now and again. I think that'll help tremendously. It'll help because you got a self-help book.
Well, it's not self-help.
And it is. It's a self-help book because if they read it, they can help themselves. If they go in the glossary and check out the symbols, they can help themselves. You see, it's a self-help book, but in the positive way. You're not trying to make them dependent upon you with the self-help.
I don't want to write another
In other words,
book.
your self-help is not linked to capitalism. It's not clinical with a capitalistic girding. The clinical part ain't bad in and of itself. The capitalism is always complicated. But when you put them two things together, the capitalism ends up leading and the clinical end up following. And as a result, then you got to keep people on the hook as opposed to helping them heal.
I love that. And then your thoughts? Yes.
So this is something hopefully for the future. Krishnamurti is one of your favorites.
One of them, yes.
Yeah, and you lean on him no different than you would lean on an elder. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yes.
One of mine is Amos Wilson.
Love Amos.
Queen Afua.
Yes.
Obviously, Dr. Joy DeGroove, Francis Cress Welsing.
Yes.
I like Wangari Maathai with the Green Belt movement.
Yes.
I'm growing into Vandana Shiva, Sadhguru. But Amos Wilson and
Wayne B. Chandler.
James Klingman.
Right.
Yeah, I like all that. I know you know all them.
Muta Ashby, brother Muta Ashby.
Yeah,
come on.
He's powerful.
What we on? Let's go.
I know, right? I'm saying I lean on some of these folks, but I noticed you lean on, in terms of this show, Krishnamurti, and I really wanted to know, and you don't have to answer none of this now. How did you stumble on Krishnamurti? What questions were you asking that he helped answer? Who did you leapfrog over, or who did you gravitate or graduate from when you got to Krishnamurti? In other words, who preceded him? How did he touch and send ripple marks onto anyone and everyone else that you found, after you had, dove in his and swam in his pool and drank from his well of wisdom? Because I noticed question. you haven't left Krishnamurti, and Krishnamurti has never left you, no matter where else you went.
Right.
He left an indelible mark.
Oh, for sure.
And, right. And so I'm not saying that any of those answers need to come now. Hopefully, I hope that will be like part of a show at some point.
No, I got you.
Because I think that investigation would be helpful for a lot of people.
Let me just answer it real quickly. So in the 90s, this is when I discovered Krishnamurti, in the 90s. And I was on a spiritual journey. I was devouring books, philosophy.
Coming out of what?
Christianity, as you know, a young guy in the 90s, yeah. But I was reading everything. I was studying everything. I spent some time as a Muslim. You know, my mother was like, today's her birthday, but my mother was like, God rest her soul. She was like, you know, you can't undo being saved. You were saved at 9. So all this Muslim talk, you can't undo what Jesus did for you.
For you. Jesus died to save you from your sin.
So that was amazing, you know. But that started when I was 17, you know. Mm-hmm. But by the time I got to the 90s, you know, I had studied everything. Nation of Islam, Ansar Allah. I studied everything. Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism. I started to read books on quantum mechanics, everything. But then when I got into the quantum mechanics piece, I got hit with a book by Michael M. Talbot called The Holographic
Universe. Yeah, he was cold.
I read that. I said, wait, hold on. What?
3 times, right? 3 times or 4?
Come on, man. At this stage, I done read it about 20 times. At this stage.
No. I mean back then, because it was one of those books that had words in it, phrases in it, ideas in it that make you go back 3 or 4 times, underline stuff, look it up, and all that. You know. Yeah,
back then I read it about 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good.
And then of course that's when I meet Cool Mo D. So Mo D is getting books, but Mo is this guy. He's like, Zoe, I don't have the patience to read. He's like, you read it and give me the footnotes. So through Mo D, I get turned on to Robert Anton Wilson. Mm-hmm. So I'm reading all of this stuff. Michael M. Talbot's Holographic Relationship. Mm-hmm. In that book, he talks about Paramahansa Yogananda, self-realization. And then he talks about a guy that's doing miracles in India at the time by the name of Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba. Mm-hmm. So then me and MC Ren, we go down to the center for Sai Baba in Tustin. Yeah, that's MC Ren from NWA. We go down there together.
Chillin' in black.
Right. So we go down there and we want to see if this is real. So I start finding books that were based on the science, not the followers of Sai Baba. And there were some scientific editorials and articles and books about Sai Baba. Stay right there. When we come forward, I'll tell you how Sai Baba led me to Krishnamurti.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
When temperatures climb, LADWP wants to help you stay cool indoors, starting in your attic. With quality attic insulation, your home can stay more comfortable during hot summer days and help lower your energy bills year-round. It's a smart way to save. And for a limited time, LADWP has increased the attic insulation rebates to make upgrading more affordable. Act now to start saving. Visit ladwp.com/attic. That's ladwp.com/attic. From station to stage, LA Metro connects you to the artistic heart of Los Angeles. Celebrate this National Arts Month with Metro, exploring galleries, theaters, and cultural spaces across the city. Art isn't just where you end up, it's how you get there.
This is the story of the one.
As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at WootenCenter.org. That's WootenCenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the smooth grooves that envelop the voice of reason. Yes, you've arrived at the scene of the conversation. You already know what it is. It's such a vibe over here. Andy killing it. So, my brother Leroy is on here, and he asked a profound question. How did I arrive at the works of Krishnamurti? I talked about Michael M. Talbot's book, The Holographic Universe. The Holographic Universe led me to Paramahansa Yogananda, self-realization, led me to Satya Sai Baba. And as I was studying Sai Baba, I discovered a book, because I didn't want to read any books by any followers. So I discovered a book called A Catholic Priest Meets Sai Baba. Don't believe me, go look it up. This book still exists. The Catholic priest goes to visit Sai Baba. Now, Sai Baba had been visited by so many people from the 70s, 80s, 90s on, scientists. The guy who does the what's the show? Twilight Zone did a whole special on him called The Man of Miracles of This Day and Age. Right? So I'm looking at Sai Baba and I'm like, oh man, scientists are saying this stuff that he's doing is provable. Like miracles, like pulling 2 different kinds of fruit off of one tree, and you know, hot plates of food falling out of his hands, and like all kind of stuff.
Making a crackhead bring the money that they borrowed back. Yeah,
so no,
work miracles.
Right, miracles, right? So the Catholic priest, who is a cardinal, you can look this up, this is real, He goes to India to investigate on behalf of the Vatican. He gets there, he meets the dude. The dude tells him something's wrong with your kidney. He said, go home. You're here, just go home. You shouldn't be here. Go home, look at your kidney. He goes home, finds out his kidney is on the verge of just dropping out of his body. He had no signs, but Sai Baba told him to go home. He goes home. He gets a little treatment. He comes back. He says, listen, don't worry about the kidney. I fixed it. I fixed it. He goes home, goes to the doctor, nothing wrong with his kidney. He goes back to India. He sits with the guy. And he's talking to the guy. He says, hey, how is it that you're able to do all of these miracles? And he sees all types of miracles. How are you able to do this and nobody else can? He said, listen, you and I are like matches. The only difference is my match is lit. He goes back to the Vatican, and he tells the Vatican, hey, maybe Jesus came back in another culture, in another race, because Sai Baba was black. He had a big afro. They excommunicated his tail with the quickness, kicked him out. Right. So he goes back to India. Sai Baba says, no, don't change your religion. You're still a Catholic. They can't kick you out of God's university. What are you talking about? You're good. You get to stay there. Don't trip. Right? I read the book. A Catholic priest, right, visits Sai Baba. And the Catholic priest was on a journey similar to mine. And one of the people that he ran into was Krishnamurti. And the way he described Krishnamurti's information blew my mind. He said, I've never met a thinker whose thoughts are clearer than Krishnamurti. I never met a philosopher whose thoughts encompassed multidimensionally every idea without logical failing. I said, I got to find that guy. And then that's when I got on my Krishnamurti journey. And this was in the 90s. So hopefully I answered your question.
And finally, just the last thing. The other week, last week I think it was, you did a small story explanation on the blind musician who was the slave.
Yeah, Blind Tom.
That got exploited.
Yes.
And discarded post-exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you would take that piece out and lift it and then put it in YouTube for rotation.
So people can hear me talk about Blind Tom. Yes, I could do that.
So they could be led to that, and then also pre-order
my book, MrZowhat.com.
You slap that in there, so when they go look for it, every now and then you pull out segments, and that would be a good one, I think, because most people never heard of it, and when they hear of it, they'll never forget it the way you told it.
Man, I appreciate that. Guess what you just did, brother?
City of Champions in the building, man. Glad to hear you.
Love you, brother. I appreciate you, and look forward to hearing from you soon. Tomorrow's Holiness Wednesdays. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. The bangers keep coming.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. President Trump says he will not apologize to Pope Leo. The war on words between the pontiff and the president over Iran erupted over the weekend